picture of you on the stage next to me.
Hey, Mr. Stringer, I'm a freelance reporter.
Hi.
A quick question that I wanted to ask you. I know we're coming off of the heels of the Me Too movement that's been progressing over the past few years, and especially with what's happening with Andrew Cuomo, and I think you've also called for him to step down. What would you say to people who would call you a hypocrite for also not stepping down after being accused by multiple people of sexual assault as well?
I would say that we've answered this question 100 times.
Sure, but can you give me a response now? Excuse me, Mr. Stringer. Can I have a comment?
So how do you think we did?
Okay.
We got that.
Hey, excuse me, Mr. Adams.
Yes,
I wanted
sir.
to ask you a quick question.
Only if it's
Recently,
quick.
it's come to light comments that you've made in the past in defense of Louis Farrakhan, and I know many people have been questioning that. I wanted to ask you, do you support Louis Farrakhan?
Here we go.
God bless you, sir. God bless
I
you.
just did 2 hours working hard.
But as the
No,
mayor of
I
New
do
York
not-
City, you'd have to be working harder than just 2 hours.
Let me answer you. I'm sorry. Yes, you can. I do not support any anti-Semitism, and that is why I was endorsed by the Jewish Voice, the Jewish Press. That is why I was endorsed by
Incoming mayor.
the Satmar community. That's
God bless
why I
you,
was
sir.
endorsed by the Flatbush Jewish JCC. That is why they all know my good work. I'm a
Okay,
solid
Louis
guy.
Farrakhan has made anti-white and anti-Semitic comments. Would you
God
condemn
bless
him
you, sir.
specifically?
God bless you, sir.
Ms. Garcia, I had a quick question for you. So I know you've kind of had this meteoric rise, especially since the New York Times endorsed you, but many have critiqued that support as only coming from, upper middle class people who take the New York Times extremely seriously. How would you respond to people who say you have a lack of like a diverse supporter group?
Oh, look, I got the New York Times endorsement. I got the Daily News endorsement. I got Planned Parenthood's endorsement, Street PAC's endorsement, the chief leader and Cranes. When does Labor and Business Mag actually endorse the same person? You know why? Because they know I have a track record for solving impossible problems, and that's what New Yorkers want across the city.
Absolutely.
All races, all religions.
As a leading female candidate in this race, I also wanted to ask you, there has been a little bit of a Me Too scandal that occurred in this race with Scott Stringer being accused by multiple women of sexual, impropriety or what have you. I wanted to ask, would you call for him to step down? What do you think of those?
I'd already asked for him to step aside in the mayoral race.
Sure. Well, do you think it's a big deal that nobody's talked about that in this debate? Again, coming off the Me Too movement, we didn't talk about this once throughout the
We've
debate.
talked about it in both debates before.
Sure. Well, not this debate. And I mean, do you think
Actually,
this is a
all three.
significant issue that should be brought up?
Absolutely. Do women need to be heard? But women also need so many other things. We can have zero tolerance for sexual harassment, period.
Sure. Well, Scott Stringer is getting away with more than just zero tolerance for this. I mean, Andrew Cuomo, I know, is
I
also
think
the
he's
state governor.
actually losing. So.
Sure, but he's still in the race. Thank you so much for your time.
You.
Hi, Mr. Yang. I
We're
have
not
one
doing any
quick question
questions right
for
now.
you. Sure, but
We're
as a
not-
candidate, I
we're
think
not
he
doing
deserves.
any
I think
questions right now.
New York City citizens deserve to have this question.
We aren't
answered.
doing any
All right, well, he
questions
could hear
right
it and
now.
then just not answer.
I
Mr.
understand,
Yang,
but
so
we're not
according
doing
to a
any
recent
questions
Emerson
right now. Right over
poll,
here, guys.
30% of New Yorkers are really concerned about crime.
not doing any
Do you have
questions
any
right now.
comment on the
You can refer to
defund
the
the
debate.
movement?
You can
defund
refer to the
police?
debate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Killed, dude.
Thank you so much.
I'm on the record multiple times. I don't think defunding the police is the right approach for New York. We need to deliver real public safety to people.
Thank you for your time, Mr.
Thank
Yang.
you. I just want to say, hey, my guy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Ocasio-Cortez. And the squad has recently been embroiled in some controversy after some comments that Ilhan Omar made. She was comparing America and Israel to the Taliban. I just wanted to get, what were your reaction to those comments?
I frankly was spending the day getting ready for this debate that I just walked out of, and I'm very proud to have the endorsement of so many members of Congress, including the Congresswoman, including Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, Congressman Jamal Bowman, and so many others. And I'm focused on what the people of the city of New York need.
Yeah, there were many House Democrats that called these comments anti-Semitic, comparing, again, America and Israel to like terrorist groups like the Taliban. Do you have any comment on that specifically? Do you agree with that?
I honestly was focused today. It was the third debate in this mayoral race.
Okay.
That's what I've been focused on all day.
Sure. Well, do you agree that Israel and America are comparable to the Taliban? Her comments aside?
I am not going to answer this question because I have been actually just come out of the debate. I appreciate you asking.
If you want to give me a card, I'm
Sure
happy
thing.
to.
Sure thing.
you
Can I
come
get
to
your
a
card?
comment.
Do you have a card?
Sorry, I don't have a card, but
Okay,
if you
well,
have something, I'm happy to.
Unfortunately, I have my name here on my press pass. You guys
I will
want me to
take a
have
picture.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're just
Yeah, I know it's just been a big controversy. AOC's endorsement has helped skyrocket you in the polls, so that's why I felt it was an important question.
As has Kim Jeffries and so many.
AOC's endorsement
Yeah, no, they're all
for that
very-
great
Yeah,
win.
no, I mean, I'm very proud of all of the endorsements.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, Ms. Wiley, so I was able to catch up with you last debate where you didn't have an answer for my question about Ilhan Omar's comments. I wanted to see if you had an answer now. So Ilhan Omar made comments comparing America and Israel to Hamas and the Taliban. Do you have an answer now that you've had more than a week to think about it?
Thank you.
You've had more than a week to think about this answer. Don't New Yorkers deserve an answer to this question? New Yorkers don't deserve an answer? It's a shame. Hey, Ms. Morales, may I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
So there are a few different progressive candidates in this race.
Yeah.
There's you, there's Maya Wiley, there's Scott Stringer, among others. And I understand that many of the progressive campaigns really had trouble coalescing behind one candidate.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it seems like some progressives may be able to benefit from ranked choice voting. But do you think maybe if the progressives were able to coalesce among one candidate between the progressives in the race, that you guys would kind of have a better shot instead of kind of splitting the vote, which some people thinks it looks like?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. I think there are some real differences between the progressive candidates. I think ranked choice voting is a great thing because it gives people the opportunity to actually vote with their values without having to feel like they have to compromise. So I think, I think we're going to end up with what voters want in the end, after all.
Absolutely. One last quick question.
Sure.
I know we're also coming off the heels of the Me Too movement.
Yes.
This did come up in this race with one of the progressive candidates, Scott Stringer. He did end up losing many supporters,
Yes.
Julia Salazar. I think you called for him to drop out. It wasn't brought up in this debate. Is this an important issue that we could continue to bring up? Should Democrats be calling for him to stop campaigning? Of course, we're in the race now, but what do you make of him not dropping out?
I mean, I think at this point, the decision was made, and it's really going to be up to the voters on election day to decide what kind of leadership they think they want to have for the city as we work to, I think, not just recover from the current crisis, but actually build a new city.
Does this delegitimize the Me Too movement at all to see Democrats not abiding by some of the rules that they apply to others in the party?
Well, I mean, I think as you mentioned, he lost quite a bit of support and he lost quite a bit of momentum. And I think, we'll see what the voters say on election day.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
much so much for your time. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Take care.